My will can create new dimensions, and you dare to refuse my love? You must give in. You must accept my love.
In this new story, because that's what Nickelodeon asked us to do along the way, they asked us, can you keep the characters, keep the world, but change the lore, change the history, remove it from the world of Avatar and come pitch again? So we did. It took us 6 months and we had to rewrite the entire lore. So in our new story, one that we created as an original, the log line is a 10-year-old has the power to stop the apocalypse, but he's too shy and nerdy. And so in the story, yeah, so this is how I looks now. Some liberties were taken in colorations and whatnot. But the history of the world is that he is a god, and there are many gods in the universe, the many universes, and their goals, their purpose is to create, maintain, and manage worlds, like universes. He meets this woman named Irla, who he falls in love with, but she doesn't return his love. He chases her through the galaxies, trying to convince her of his love, and she flatly refuses. And he decides, if I can't have you, no one will. So he uses his resonant power to try to destroy her, but she uses her forbidden resonant power, and her power explodes, as you see in the picture happening here. And she creates this entire ecosystem, and she turns into a world, and that world is called Earth. So it's the history of our world and how it's been created by unrequited love. So that is the basis, that's the foundation, and that's kind of where we've gone with the story. Jarrod, any surprises here? Anything different than what you remember?
It is Designers go through a lot of changes naturally throughout the pipeline. So not surprising that there's changes, but I am surprised how true to the original design. I've got the original concept up on my screen
Oh, you want to share with
next
us?
to our.
Yes, please do share.
Sure.
That'd be wonderful. We can see
How do
the
I?
history of I, which I say to people, I is like the is the way that his feared minions utter his name.
Is that up?
It is, yes. Well, see, but even that is advanced though, because at one point it was just, remember the one that was like black and white and had like no color at all?
Oh, yes. I
You
can
had
go
that
back to
one?
those in a minute. But the design that you just showed me through Mel, her turnaround sheet has made adjustments to the design, which I think look amazing. But yeah,
Mhm.
this was the first. Whoop, that's further back. This was the first. I think the first
Mm,
approved, the first greenlit pass that we did.
yeah.
And then it goes further back through iterations of um,
Yeah, I remember that.
playing with all the different exoskeletons, all the different designs. We were really trying to bring out that amalgamated look for him.
Mhm.
Um, and we went through, my God, so many, and they all turned out really good. But I think we really got a nice refined version in the end.
Mhm. Oh my goodness, I
And
remember this. We were considering
uh,
having a walking stick, yeah.
having the walking stick, we played around with some mask ideas. I think back here as well was one of the first passes we ever did. Um, but yeah, it was
Mm,
very fun to get all those designs out, and it's so cool to see it brought to life so faithfully. To be honest, I expected a lot more changes just from the nature of the animation, production pipeline. So many changes, so many artists and hands in the pie. So
mhm.
yeah, it's really cool to see.
No, I like from the beginning because there were several images that you had in a document that had different characters, and I just remember seeing this one, and there was something about the V on the head that was reptilian.
I
That
believe we
was so
have.
interesting.
I
Uh,
think it was this the original concept that we discussed
yeah,
in the initial meeting.
yeah, that was the one, and there's like the hair, and yeah, that I think that was the first one that I'd seen, but it was in the midst of other ones, and so but that one stood
Yeah,
out for whatever that thing is on the head. I thought that was so interesting. So yeah,
yeah.
no, I mean, we didn't want to stray terribly far from what is here because there's an energy here. There's a posture, there's a gaze.
Yeah, we had a moment of venturing away from the fundamentals of this design, and I think we all eventually came back and said like, no, we should veer less away from this, closer towards this initial concept and
Yeah,
the kind of emotions that's evoking.
is that what's on the right side, the experiments beyond, or what was all that?
So this was when I think this was the first designs we ever did for I, and we were trying to balance the style of what was at the time Avatar: The Last Airbender and what we were trying to bring to the show. And then when we ventured further away, I think this was the next pass, and we wanted to move further away from a guy in armor and a suit, and closer towards more of a character creature style.
Yeah. Yeah, wonderful. It's just yeah. I appreciate this. You forget Dan, you joined the team July 9th of 2021. Jarrod, you joined the team September 13th of 2021. Whoever wants to go first, what was happening in your life at that time?
Everybody was going through COVID. The whole world was going through COVID. And I think I had just gotten back from New York because it hadn't really gotten full blown yet. So I got back from New York like in March. And when I was in New York, I started dabbling in like trying to do comedy, and I did stand up in New York um, in an open mic. So I did that, and then when I got back, I was like, I feel like I could do just about anything if I can stand in front of people I don't know and try and make them laugh and get them to laugh. So then that's when I started, looking around, see what I could find, and I found a posting that you had in a Facebook chat room or some type of Facebook group, and that's really what brought me in was the interest in that. So Daughter's Dance led to essentially and eventually me joining the team.
For me, I had just moved into the heart of Melbourne around that time, and I was working in a couple different projects, a couple different clients, and I was looking for something that would spread out a little bit more into the animation industry. And when stumbling upon your post and having our initial meeting, being able to work on a villain for a show was like, holy grail opportunity. So had to jump at it straight away.
That's wonderful. It's interesting. So did you not do animation before?
I had, but with smaller projects, and definitely not on a lead. It was a lot of background characters, a lot of environments. Main characters and leads are where a lot of my passion is. So being able to bring so much story into one design was amazing.
That's awesome. Awesome. And what are you both working on these days?
All right. At the moment, I'm working on a couple different things. I'm working with a couple indie studios that are making games, and I'm doing a lot of lead work for them, helping the art team sort of transition from juniors into mid. And then working on a couple private projects of my own, which I can't talk about, but it's all very exciting stuff and pushing my capabilities as a creator and an artist to its absolute limit.
Tremendous.
Very cool. So I am, as I mentioned earlier, I have a lot of auditions that come in. I probably had like 20 auditions in January itself. I had recent success flying up to New York a few times in the past 6 months to film 3 different TV shows. None of them have aired yet, but they are going to be airing very shortly. Um, New York Homicide, which is like a reenactment show, airs on the 15th. I'm in an episode of Law and Order that airs on the 20th. And then there's another show called no, it's called Evil Lives Here. It's such a long time ago I filmed it. It was actually like in July I filmed it. Evil Lives Here will be out in like another 3 weeks or so. So just really kind of, grinding the auditions, trying to get better every time I do one. Asking for advice. I've asked you, Francois, about SAG and whatnot. And I have a mentor
a mentor locally that I, throw things at and ask for his opinion and see what he thinks all the time because he's been doing this for like 30 years. So, a great source of information. And I'm just working at trying to get away from the day job and making it into this full time. That's kind of the dream.
I have one last question for you both. What are you hopeful about today?
You can go first for this one, Dan.
What am I hopeful about today? Oh, that's kind of a deep question. I don't know if I want to go so deep into my answer. Um, I'm hopeful that we can keep building towards achieving the goal of making this a thing, like a real thing that gets out there that people fall in love with, that we get to do for 4 or 5 years or longer, and see where it takes all of us, how it helps us in our lives and in our careers. That's what I'm hoping for, success with this project.
Thank you for that.
Mine's a little less grand than that, but I love that answer so much. I'm hopeful, at least for today, is just a peaceful day, enjoying my Saturday. I have a very busy and stressful career. As you guys know, you're in a similar field. So enjoying these days where you can just take it easy and not do much are a blessing. And looking forward to just hopefully enjoying that nice and peacefully.
Wonderful, thank you. And I think I'll answer the question as well. What am I hopeful for? I have butter pecan ice cream in the freezer, and so I'm looking forward to that. For the future, I definitely agree with Dan. I'm hopeful. I'm seeing growth across the different teams. I'm seeing synergy across continents. We're on 2 different continents right now in this conversation. But we have 5 continents represented on our team, which I think speaks to the energy on the team, the beauty of the story, our connectedness, our shared vision, and what we're attempting to create. So I'm hopeful, I'm thankful, and I look forward to the next. I look forward to tonight, but also for this year. I think we're gonna have a lot of exciting things happen this year. So thank you both for your time, your energy, your thoughts, your voices, your talent, and your contribution. And I look forward to moving forward with you both on Team Dirthob.